yesterday morning for church. So our church had done Vacation Bible School the last week. And so yesterday morning the kids had a presentation, but we had our normal opening choruses. So for the opening choruses, we did all kind of like old school VBS songs, and we had so much fun, didn't we?
We did.
People
enjoyed it.
We weren't quite sure like how the audience was going to take it, so Dustin was leading, but I was just kind of like watching everybody, and almost
He was in the background.
Yeah, I was in the background. I was just observing, and I noticed like most of the people were either like smiling, they were all singing, and then some people were even doing motions and stuff. Yeah. So it was fun. Like we wanted to just do some kind of fun theme, and I liked it.
Yep. It was good.
Okay, but let's try to. You're going to have to give me the keys.
Okay, well, let's just do this.
I don't know if you can
We're going to have some help, so some helpers.
Yeah, y'all better be singing at home if you know these songs.
I was talking about in-house.
Oh, in-house, but y'all can sing along too. I hope that you can hear okay. We don't have all the sound going on tonight. It is hot. I don't know where y'all live, if it is hot as it is here, but it was over 100 degrees today, and it is so humid. It is like miserably hot. But the air conditioning is supposed to be fixed, but it's lagging behind. Like, I mean, I think it's set on 67, and it's like 74 in here. That I guess everybody says theirs is like that. So I don't know if it's working or not. But anyways, it's hot. So we're probably not going to do live for a crazy amount of time. We cooked out tonight. We cooked everything on the grill. I even had the burners on the grill going with like hot dog sauce. And I made a hash brown casserole. That I subbed out. I'll tell you all what I did. So I did like normal hash brown casserole. But I subbed out I did 1 can of cream of chicken soup and 1 can of cream of cheddar or cheddar soup, something, and I mixed that together. And then I grated my own cheese because everything I've been watching says to grate your own cheese because it doesn't melt right because of the cornstarch in normal shredded cheese. So I got one of those things that you like churn. Is that what you would call it? And it shredded all the cheese. So anyway, but I just threw that on the grill and made it like the oven, and then we did hamburgers and hot dogs, and then hot dog sauce, and so anyways, but pretty easy dinner.
Well, your mom and I, we're just glad he didn't use that cream of mushroom soup, or we would have
When I use cream of mushroom soup, they like go on strike. They act like
no mushroom.
They just never seen something so awful. So I try not to use cream of mushroom soup. Only once a month or twice a month. I just sneak it in stuff. Okay.
Is anyone will come help? I guess it's
Okay,
me.
so you want me to do these keys?
Yeah, I'm just doing that key. Who knows it? Does Scott know it? Or Matt?
I don't know at all.
Matt, did you go to Vacation Bible School?
Yeah, we did.
Were y'all not raised Christian?
You were.
Dustin and I were. Don't y'all worry.
Okay. Let's try it again.
It's on hot days like today we're glad we were, aren't we?
That's right. Sing
Okay, we got one more, we got one more.
Hey, we'll slow down.
Okay. Aren't those fun?
Yes.
So would y'all like to hear that at your church? Because, you know, we didn't know if our guys would like it or not, but they did.
They did.
We had fun.
Okay, now, folks, what was the theme of VBS?
Trust Jesus.
Trust in Jesus.
See, I listen.
So,
I don't care what they say.
we're gonna play a song about trusting Jesus.
Okay. through like just like kind of worship choruses. So this is the book, the Praise and Worship Fake Book. These fake books are great because all the music is usually shoved on 1 or 2 pages. And it's great because it has, like, if you have guitarists or anything like that, and it has all the chord progression, so it's really nice. It doesn't have the bass line, but you have the chord progression. And really, that's all I need. But I want to play this. They always sang this in my church growing up, and I hadn't heard it in years. And so I told Dustin, I said, it wasn't until I got to the W's. So I've worked a long way through this book, and I kind of got stopped in the W's. But I'm going to play this. So I'm not going to say the name, but if you recognize it, comment on here. I'll sing a little bit of it. This isn't in my range, so this will be rough, but I just want you to hear the words a little bit. Princes and governors, sons and daughters, kneel at the throne of grace. Losers and winners, saints and sinners, one day will see His face. And we all bow songs, and I think there's one that's like oldies. But it's just, and it's, I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's very simple music. So even if you're not very experienced, and you can read a little bit, or even if you can chord, it's all in here. So these are really nice. But there's all kinds of stuff in here. This is all praise and worship songs. And how we typically open up our service is we will do one or two like praise anthems and then go into a hymn. We like there to be a variety at our church. That way it kind of meets all the needs of everyone. So a lot of times you'll go to a service and then it'll all be contemporary, and people that like contemporary love that. But then there's other people that don't like that. And so mine and Dustin's goal with worship service is to where there is at least something that everyone will like, which can be challenging. It's hard, it's not always easy to please everyone, but we like having a variety. That way, something meets everyone's needs. So we all have different things that we like out of a worship service, and sometimes it's not all the old stuff or all the new stuff. So we got to mix it up. hopefully this heat gives us a break here soon. I know it's just part of summer, but goodness sakes, we're ready for fall. I like the long days of summer. I'm loving it. I know we just hit the longest day of the year, and that makes me a little bit sad. But goodness, hot summer. Okay, so what else? What do we got going on? Do we have anything we need to tell them about? I don't think so. Today's Patty's birthday. Patty, what are you?
Happy birthday.
50 years old today?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Patty. Happy birthday to you.
Y'all have a great week. Bye, guys.